guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Xoxo Imagine is my name. It's been a while, and today I'm back with a story time of how actually I got into content creation and how I make my money as a content creator, small content creator that is here in Uganda, Africa, and the whole everything. So I'm gonna start from the time when I decided to become a content creator. Right now, when I was younger, I remember our parents didn't know these jobs of like content creation or something. Either you are a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, a lawyer, or something like that, right? So I grew up thinking maybe I was gonna become a doctor, right? Then when I head to secondary school right after primary, my friends are like, what do you do for fun? Like, what are your hobbies? What do you do? Blah blah blah. People do soccer, people do what do you do? So I actually discovered I had a passion for fashion, right? So I was like, maybe I'm gonna become a fashion designer or a fashion model or something. My dream to become a fashion designer quickly went down the drain because I actually can't draw, right? So I can't draw, so that was out of the option. I was like, okay, I can become a fashion designer, but then maybe I can become a fashion model and like walk the runways, Tokyo, Seoul. Is it Seoul? Is it Seoul? But like it's in Korea, you guys should know that it's very fashionable. That place, London, New York, Milan, Paris, you know, like all those fashion weeks. So I remember booking myself to go meet one of the modeling scouts for Crystal Model Management Uganda. It's one of the biggest modeling agencies in Uganda. I remember going to my Facebook, looking for this man, getting his contacts, calling him, texting him, and he's like, you know what, we can meet. So I remember going. I missed school that day. It was a Friday. I remember I missed school. I told my friends I'm gonna be going to see a model casting coach. I missed school. Went met this guy. He was called Osoboga. Yeah. I go and meet him. And then there was a photo shoot, right? I met them at the photo shoot. He was having like 7 models having a photo shoot. Everybody's looking good, gorgeous, flawless. But then I think one thing I had missed is that everybody actually was taller than me. So he speaks to me, tells me the costs, what's needed, the kind of pictures. So I go back home. I go back to hostel because it was a day school and I was living in hostel. So when I go to hostel, I text some other guys. Now during that time, I think I had texted every model I know in Uganda because I was like, hey, can I become a model at 14? Hey, can I become a model at 13? Hey, can I become a model? And all of them were giving me these ideas of like, yeah, you can become a model. Hey, this, hey, that, wah, 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 and all that. So after meeting this agent, I go and I text one of my friends, one of the people who had become my friends, one of the models who had become my friends. Right now, he moved to South Africa, and that's where he's living. So I text him and I'm like, oh, I just met the model scout for Crystal Management Uganda, and he told me this is needed, this and this. And this guy is like, oh, okay, that's so fine. By the way, did he ask you about your age? And I mean about your height and everything. So I'm like, no, they didn't ask me about my height. And he's like, but you said you wanted to do runway modeling. And I'm like, yeah, that would be the best. I'm fine with all these other kind of modeling, but like I think runway would be so much fun, right? And then he tells me, well, how tall are you? And right now, as a 19-year-old, I think I'm like 5'6". So back then, I think I was like maybe just 5 plain, or like maybe 5'2", or maybe 5'3", I'm not sure. So I tell him, and he's like, oh wait, you're too short, you can't actually do runway modeling. So when he tells me I can't do runway modeling, I'm like, okay, what? Why? Like, why? And it's like, oh, first of all, you're too short, blah 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 blah. So that dream as well also goes down the drain, right? Then during that whole me booking myself different agencies, going for scouting and stuff, my passion for TV also grows. So when I was like 13, I think we were 13, me and my friends were 13, yeah. So my friends bring this idea of like working on a TV station. My friend Priscilla and my friend Susan, they bring this idea of like us working on a TV station and a teen TV show, and we write down this idea and stuff. So we write down the whole idea of the TV show, and they leave it at that, right? It's like maybe just another joke or something like that. But then to me, it was something that I actually took up, and I was like, maybe I can do this. So I borrow their idea and I modify it. And then a year later, was it a year or just a term? I think the next school term, right? The next school term, my friend Elijah comes up to me and is like, hey Colin, I'm going to go to TV and ask for a job. And I'm like, wait, this can't be a coincidence. I was speaking with the girls about TV. Now my friend is also coming and telling me about TV. So I sit him down and I'm like, okay, tell me about your whole TV thing. And he's like, well, there's this new TV show, there's this new TV that is coming, and I want to ask for a job there. This is my whole pitch, this is what I want to do and stuff like that. So when I looked through his thing, like through his whole program line, I rubbish it and I'm like, okay, this is stupid, right? I'm your friend and I want to watch you on TV. I don't want you to come on TV and I change because your show is stupid, because your show is like dumb and stuff. So we modify the show and I borrow some ideas from the girls. I put my own ideas, he brings other ideas, we modify everything. And I remember we were perfect at that time. So the next day at school, after modifying everything, we asked for a gate pass. It was around break time, and then we get a gate pass. We get out of school. We walked to the TV station. Now, when we walk to the TV station, we get there and everyone is like looking at us because we're in our uniforms. People there are handing in the applications, but then it's these two young boys, and then we are like, yeah, we want to work at TV. This is it. They call us the next day. We do our, should I call them interviews? We fail them. They never call us again. Stuff like that. We moved to like 7 different TV stations. They chase us. Okay, not chasing us like go, but like we don't get the jobs anyway because maybe we don't look that good or something. Okay, so fast forward, when I go to Form 3, I'm there. I know, like, I've been to like every TV station in the country that I'm not giving us a job. Modeling has gone because I'm not tall and good looking enough. I can't draw, I can't become a fashion designer, I'm not that talented. So I'm just there trying to figure out what to do with myself, right? Then I remember I used to follow like all these influencers on Instagram. I just joined the app in Form 4. I joined the app, and then I joined Instagram. I was around 6. I was going to make 16 by that time, but then I was like, okay, what is this blogging I hear about? So I opened up Matson magazine. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like, okay, I needed something to push me through the day, something to just unleash my creativity upon, something to just do. I didn't know it was a job. I didn't know it could get you paid. I didn't know it could get you famous. I didn't know it could get you anything. So I remember launching it and calling my friend Susan and being like, hey Susan, I'm going to open a blog. What do you think? And then Susan is like, a blog? Okay, that sounds fine, but like, do you know what you're doing? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to open the blog anyway. So I remember putting my first post and I'm like, we are launching on 3rd April, blah, 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 blah. And everybody was like, wait, what are you doing with this stuff? Like, what is this? Like, it was new because most people didn't know what a blog was. Most people didn't know that actually those things we search on the internet are blogs and stuff. So I told people, yeah, I'm opening up a blog. And then during that time at school, I was one of the few editors of the school magazine. So I put that idea of like editing a magazine into making my own blog. So I remember launching my blog. I had flown to Ivory Coast for Model African Union. So when I came back, it was around Feb. Yeah, Feb. I told people there, you guys, I'm launching a blog. So I had like loads of people anticipating my blog opening or launching, let's say. So when I launched Matson magazine, I put everything there. You know how like a blog is supposed to be specific to one thing, like food or fashion or travel? When I launched Matson magazine, it had everything in there. Like the very first article, I think I'm gonna try and look for the first article, right? And put a link there so you guys can actually go and see. So for the very first article, Matson magazine, it had everything. There was food, there was a recipe. In the very like one article, it had food, it had a recipe, it had a fashion tip, it had the sports part, it had everything. I literally put like a full magazine into one article. But then people were still kind enough to like go there and be like, oh my god, Colin, this is so nice and everything. So I went on educating myself, and with time my views grew, of course. Then my Instagram started to catch up. Now when my Instagram started to catch up, I remember one of the first emails I received is from a company called Teen Hearts. They're like, hey, would you like to model our stuff? Meanwhile, my Instagram is like at 200 followers, and then my blog views are like a little high. I think they're like at 300 views or something like that. So yeah, they message me and I'm like, okay, what's happening? Like, what's happening? So I get so excited and I get to educate myself more, like this whole influencer blogger thing. I start taking it to the next level. I start producing more content on my blog. I start shooting better pictures on my Instagram. Like, I put my whole heart into it. Fast forward, my Instagram grows to like 1,000 followers. Now when my Instagram grows to But my Instagram grows to 1,000 followers. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, this is it. More companies are messaging me, more brands are messaging me. Like, it's a big deal for like a 16-year-old. So I come up with an idea. Should I make a podcast as well? I launched Matson. It was Matson Radio. I made like 4 segments there, then closed it. I'm like, okay, what should I launch? Like, should I launch a blog? What I already had a blog. I'm like, should I launch a brand or something like that, right? So I remember thinking about launching a lash line, because I messaged like people who do wholesale, people who do packaging. I'm like, I'm going to make a brand, something like that, blah blah blah. It all ended. It all didn't go on. It was just like that excitement of like, getting some people to follow you and all that. So fast forward, I go to 4,000 followers. I get invited to the Men's Fashion Week Nigeria. I get invited to the brand opening of the penthouse in New York for fashion influencers. The one that is called what's that penthouse called? Village Studio. I get invited to Village Studio in New York, and it's a big deal for me. So I'm still getting comfortable with the whole Instagram thing, like, oh my god, I have 4,000 followers, blah 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 blah. Other social medias are erupting. TikTok erupts, other podcasts are now a big deal. YouTube comes up, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I have to expand myself, right? So I go back to opening a YouTube channel. I had opened my YouTube channel back then when the TVs had rejected all my pitches, my friend and I's pitches. That's when I opened up a YouTube channel, but I didn't know how to operate the whole thing, so I had left it at that. Just opened it and left it at that. So right now, when like we were in quarantine last year, so I'm like, okay, let me redo my YouTube, but then my videos are still bad and everything. So I'm improving slowly. So last year again, we also launched Matson Skincare. Now, coming to the part, how do you monetize as a small creator? Now, the sad bit about being a small creator is that people expect you to produce the same work as a big creator, right? So that they can follow you, but then you don't have as much money as a big creator, but then you need a big camera just like a big creator, you need a ring light, you need a good place, you need like all this stuff that a big creator already has, yet you're a small creator. So what I usually do is I usually pitch to brands, because it's very rare that brands come to you as a small creator. So you have to pitch to brands if you actually want to make money or collaborations, or you just want to get a good place to shoot your content at. Just pitch to brands, put yourself out there, believe in yourself. Another tip is actually make a schedule. I have a schedule, it's just that my iPad is off right now, but I have a schedule. Like every day of the week I have to create different content. Now, you know what's sad about being a small content creator is that you have to be on each of these platforms, because you don't know which platform is actually going to blow out your content one day. I still have to run my blog, because any day social media can go, but if I still have my blog, I still have my influence, so my blog is still up. I have my Instagram, because Instagram is a very big place for influencers, but then the worst thing about Instagram is that my account has been on the same follower count, 4,000, for like the past 2 years. So it's really demoralizing. Something like that. Then I'm on YouTube, right? Now these are 3 platforms already. I'm on YouTube and I'm trying it here, but it's really hard. I just joined TikTok, and the reason I joined TikTok is because TikTok is trending, so I also have TikTok as well. Now I also have Twitter, right? And I have to create content for all these platforms. Good content, nice content, well edited, well curated, well put together. Meanwhile, I have to live my life as a teenager. I have to live my own life. I have to rest. I have to study. I have to go to school, and then I have to work on my own skincare line, Matson Skincare. If you guys know me, I launched Matson Skincare during the quarantine last year in June with my brother. We own a handmade skincare line called Matson Skincare. So all this is supposed to be done within 24 hours of a day, right? So I have a timetable. So as a small content creator, it's really too much work. Nobody tells you this, nobody like prepares you for all this. You think you're just gonna become famous and boom, right? But then that is it. So I have to create content for all this. So I had to put different reminders in my phone. Every day is for creating different work. That's why sometimes, like last week, I didn't create a YouTube video on the day it was supposed to be created, and then the whole week I didn't have a video, because every other day I have to work on something else, something different, right? So the idea that people just think being an influencer is you being paid to take pictures is actually something that is not right, because you put in a lot of work and money before you actually get anything out, because you're gonna put in a lot of money to like buy equipment, a good phone, a good tripod, a good light, good clothing, good everything, right? But then by the time that money comes back via collaborations, via being paid, partnerships and stuff like that, you're putting a lot of time as well, right? So I don't know if people, I'm not trying to oh my god, that word, demoralize, something like that. You should actually do this if you actually love it, but it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's not just a pretty thing, it's not just posing for pictures, it's not travel to be paid. Like people make it look like as an influencer you travel to be paid. No, you're doing the job of a whole marketing team. You're actually putting a brand out there, you're trying to talk about that this brand is the best. Like it's really too much work. So yeah, that is my whole story of how I came to be a small content creator, growing, loving everything, interact with my channels, interact with everything I do. I love you guys so much. Be yourselves. Bye.